Hello, dear friends. Patrick here. Just finally finished reading this book called Bill Gates' Source Code: My Beginnings. Apparently, it's the first book in a three-book trilogy that Bill Gates wants to write about himself, an autobiography. Um, but of course, he had tons of help to write this book. But I must admit, um, this sticker is from the bookstore. I think that's from what's that bookstore called around here? Anyway, it doesn't matter. They put that on their popular books at the front to get people to try and buy it. Um, I don't know what the regular price is, but anyway, the book is written in a style that is very plain, very simple. It's not embellished with any type of writing flair, and I think that kind of goes with Bill Gates' character as a computer programmer. Just basically to the facts. And the purpose of the book is to gain sympathy for the author, right? I mean, you got this guy who history will evaluate in a variety of different ways. You see the memes and all that stuff, but he is attempting to understand himself, and in that sense, he succeeds because the level of self awareness is quite remarkable. And the level of humility is quite remarkable for a guy that is the multi billionaire, right? The richest guy in the world, probably for many years, and now trying to be a philanthropist and support different causes and what have you. It does come with a powerful level of self awareness and humility. So it succeeds in that sense. And it also succeeds in drawing in the reader to sympathize with the character of Bill Gates, the computer nerd, the fellow that has difficulty with social skills, and so you can sympathize with him. Um, the unfortunate part is that I think very few people would actually get through this book unless you got like a month away at a cottage and you're stranded somewhere. You got absolutely nothing else to read. Or the other thing is that if you want something that will put you to sleep before going to sleep, and you need like some kind of sleep medication, the first 100 pages of the book are inconsequential. So, it'll just put you straight to sleep. And you can imagine if this was about any other person, it would never get read. It's just, it's just boring, really. But anyway, I'm glad I did check it out. And now, because it does make me want to read the second part two and the upcoming part three eventually, I suppose. I mean, there's different ways that history will evaluate this gentleman, and so interesting to see. But I just thought I'd share a couple of parts that did jump out at me. On page 168, he says here, he's talking about, poor Bill Gates. He always struggled with getting along with girls and what have you in his high school days and what have you. But I just had to laugh that there was actually this one part that actually has some comedy to it. There's probably a couple of parts, but most of it is a very straightforward, bland, dry, day by day description, not day by day, but event by event description of his life, and how serendipitously that all these factors, perfect storm of factors, put him in the right place, the right time, with the right resources to be the preeminent developer of Microsoft, together with Paul Allen, of course. But anyway, let's just go here. I want to just share this part with you because it did make me laugh. He got into acting because it allowed him to play roles with his female fellow students and what have you, and he was running around. It was a lot of fun. And there was one girl specifically, Vicky, whose confidence boosted my own and helped me take more risks in my acting. We joked around, calling each other the stupid pet names from the play, Darling This and Sweetie Pooh Thou. Wrapped in the safety of my character, I got my first practice at flirting. Nervous about blowing the performance, I'd go home, close the door to my room, and run through my lines over and over again. And I just thought that it was very charming that he included that part of his life when he wanted to be an actor, and that's on page 168. So that I thought was quite endearing of his character. But anyway, let's just move on. One other portion I wanted to share was the on page 225 from the chapter called Wild Card. And when he's doing a presentation of their basic software program at this computer called MITS, and they plugged in their software, they doing this presentation, on this computer, and typing in the basic commands. They type in print 2 plus 2, and the response come back 4 OK. And so the computer is able to calculate 2 plus 2, and that's like a remarkable event. But the way that is written, and the lead up to the demonstration that they give, is very entertaining. That's on page 226. And then one last portion I'll share with you before moving on here. Like I said, no, you're never going to read this book because it's 300 pages of sleep medication is really what it is. On page 261, let's see here. Yes, on page 261, when he talks about, he wrote a letter to his dad about his dad was a very well respected lawyer and had the opportunity to become a judge, one of these high level judges from being a lawyer, a very coveted position. And he wrote a letter, and his dad is saying, I really liked your letter expressing your interest in the decision about the judgeship. It was just as you say. I'm so secure and happy in what I'm doing that a big change would just be silly. Your mother and I were very touched at your concern about this and your willingness to pay your own way. He closed his note, hope you're getting organized, love, Dad. It's just a very poignant moment and a heartfelt moment that he's willing to share with the reader about his, normally stoic relationship with his dad. His dad was the very distant, a solid figure that he didn't relate to all that much because, of course, he'd be so busy as a lawyer. But he was more influenced by his kind of Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis wannabe mom, who was perfect in all her social skills and all her activities with charities and, these service clubs and what have you. So his mom was a very powerful influence on him. Both his parents were a powerful influence on him and contributed to his success and helped guide him in the right direction, since he had remarkable skills, but also had sort of this kind of autistic level of difficulty in having social skills and what have you. So there you have it, the beginnings of the life of Bill Gates, and how history will evaluate him. I'm sure he has lots more contributions to make to the world. But if you're interested in biography, or you need something that will give you a very mild type of social medicine, I don't know how else to describe it, but I'm glad it's over with, because I need to move on to something a little more inspirational. His family was Christian Science, but he never mentions anything really about being influenced from a spiritual perspective. I'm sure that he was exposed to Christian values and Christian principles, and his parents told him, you have to be a steward. You have to be responsible with your life and how you serve people with your resources, and on, and that, I'm sure, stuck with him, of course. But whether that played a large role in his life or continues to play a large role in his life is likely no, because it's never mentioned. He's never mentioned the necessity of prayer, the necessity or lack of necessity for calling out to God, or any of those type of things that a normal person would go through in their life. They would have sort of spiritual experiences. He doesn't mention any of those, even though in the epilogue and later in the book he mentions that people that were part of it, especially the passing away of his best friend Kent, in a mountain climbing accident. He doesn't mention anything about how that affected him spiritually. And so that maybe is the only missing piece of the puzzle that I'd be curious to know whether that'll be addressed in his future work, his second book and his third book. I mean, if they're as long as and boring as this first one, how on earth is somebody going to get through 3 volumes of an autobiography of somebody just going on and on and on? It's the details is interesting. You got to be a real hardcore Bill Gates fan to get through it, I suppose. But that's the only thing I kind of missed. I was wondering if there was any permanence to the Christian Science beliefs of his parents or grandparents or what have you, or his relatives that were interested in that, Mary Baker Eddy and all that. I don't even know what the heck it's all about. It's a little bit, somebody said Christian Science is not Christian and it's not science. Well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't be too harsh on it. I don't really know much about Christian Science. But I do know that Mary Baker Eddy is one of the proponents of it, or was. She obviously has passed on now and wrote these famous books about it and all that, blah, blah, blah. So there you have it. Yeah, I'm surprised I was able to get through it, and I finished it, and it's a good book. I would rate it out of 10. What do you think? 5, 6? It's history. It's interesting history. So there you have it. Anyhow, I've gone on too long already. I'm starting to sound like the book. I'm starting to become as boring as Bill Gates. I shouldn't say that. I'm sure he's not boring in real life. But the guy probably could just tell stories for hours and hours about the history of computers and the history of software. I wouldn't want to be around when that happens. I've got it out of my system, right? I've read the book. So there you go. If you're interested in the history of Microsoft and Paul Allen and Bill Gates and all that stuff, go nuts. But otherwise, yeah. And the same thing with the other one I just finished. You know, if you're interested in finance, greed, money, go ahead, go nuts. So there you have it. I'm really hoping that I can find something to sink my teeth into in the coming days. I'm going to pray and ask God to guide me for the next book, that hopefully it'll be something that'll inspire me and teach me something valuable, instead of just listening to other people's stories about nothingness and inconsequential lives that are not my own. God bless you so much. Thank you for watching. I pray you're able to spend time with people you love. We'll talk to you again real soon. If you have any comments or questions for me, or if you have any good books you want to recommend, let me know. I'll check them out. Take care of yourself. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye for now. Bye.